It's your man, Mark Fuller, also known as the Silver Money Dude. This is the Free World Order, another Facebook Live archive. I have here, I just want to show you guys briefly something on CNN.com. Hold on a second. Let you see what I'm looking at. Of course, talking about the hurricane in Houston, mainly. This is, on the homepage. Experts say several key factors made the city more vulnerable to the effects of Hurricane Harvey. All right, that's wonderful. But to me, it does not make sense at all, because information should be used in advance of a disaster instead of after the fact. Let me flip this back around. All right, let's talk about some things real quick. I want to talk mainly. Sun is beaming off of this car in front of me, reflecting light. I want to talk mainly about being proactive. Why are people humane after a disaster? If you look at different organizations, they resurface after a disaster occurs. Red Cross, a lot of different charitable organizations. They start collecting donations. I was looking at Good Morning America this morning. They had, celebrities on there taking phone calls, people calling up to donate money, etc., etc. Disasters like this remind us of the fact that we live on a planet where these things can be predicted in advance and things can be done beforehand proactively to avoid human beings being affected the way that they are so often after the disaster takes place. Whether it's a hurricane, you had Hurricane Katrina, you had Hurricane Harvey now, you had the earthquake in Haiti a few years back, the earthquake in Japan. There are places that we know in advance where things are more likely to occur. Yet, things are not done proactively to prevent human loss in advance. It makes no sense. And the system perpetuates this behavior because we're operating under a monetary system. So everything is always based on money, whether or not there's money to do things with. And really all money is allowing you to do within the system is appropriate where resources are going to be used and dedicated to a particular area, to a particular group of people, and for a particular reason. This is silly. This is really silly. This is exactly why, until we have a resource-based economy, none of this shit is going to make sense. When you look at everything, you're wondering, it's like, well, if you knew beforehand that there was a hurricane coming, you knew how much rain potentially was going to come and was going to hit a certain area. Once you knew this information, and mind you, this was well in advance of the hurricane even popping its head. You know in advance, if there's a hurricane, exactly what part of land that the hurricane will affect and to what degree. Meteorologists, geologists, scientists, engineers and technicians, they know beforehand. But the information is not put together cohesively to create a solution in advance. And this is stupidity, again, at its finest. So all of these things are always known beforehand, the same way that they know what the reaction to vaccinations are going to be before they give them out. Before people start catching the flu, they're talking about flu shots. They know and they plan things in advance, but only for profit. And again, this is because of the monetary-based system that we're using. There's no incentive for this information to be released beforehand if they can't benefit from it financially. Just like all the insurance companies, if you live in any of the areas where there's known to be floods or known to be natural disasters, they're not going to insure you. So what makes more sense, for people to be stuck living where they're living, or for there to be a clear alternative for people to go to and to live, instead of always being subjected to the disasters that reoccur in these same places over and over again? See, we're dealing with human beings every time. So every time you see disaster, you see what takes place after the disaster, and the way that they perpetuate the information through the media, it makes people want to give money. But we collectively should be using our money and our resources for something that will be proactive, not be reactive. People are giving money to the disaster relief, and we really don't know where the money is going to end up. We don't know if the resources are going to even reach the people that have been affected. Just like Hurricane Katrina, I believe that the Red Cross by itself raised more than $500 million during Hurricane Katrina. Who knows where that money went? Who knows? And I'm not knocking these organizations, because you really don't know what organizations are doing unless they're 100% transparent. So you don't know where the money is flowing. You don't know where it's going. You really don't know anything. You're just assuming that they're doing what is the best that they can do with the money that you're giving, the money that you're contributing. So anyway, my point is that people react. And we're at a place of existence where it's really time out for that, because we're running out of time. The planet is deteriorating as a result of the systems that we're using. The monetary system is fueling every other system that's in place. You know, I was talking yesterday about how we still use fossil fuel. We still are using oil. We don't need to use oil at all. But there's no incentive for the oil companies to switch from using oil to using something else that's renewable. They're not going to be able to make any money in that transition. So they're not going to do it. They're going to fight tooth and nail to keep the paradigm that currently exists. They want to keep the oil flowing. And the U.S. government knows that oil is a resource that they always can tap into to maintain power and maintain control and position in the world. And this is all wrong. It's wrong and it's stupid. I mean, it's my hope, I really do hope that my contribution through these videos and through my platform, FreeWorldOrder, is able to reach a lot of people, because I'm hoping that I can contribute to opening up people's eyes and opening up their mind to what the future is becoming. Not going to be. It's here already. Like, we're already in a very bad position as far as the majority of human beings. Most people are not living well. Contrary to what you think, don't let commercials and, Hollywood and, all of these celebrities that are making money, don't let that fool you. It's a very small portion of the majority of people on our planet that are living a very good, healthy lifestyle, and they're in position to live that way. People wish that they could eat healthier. The options are not there, and they're not available to them. And if they are available to them, they can't afford to. So what are you going to do? You're going to do what you can afford to do with the means that you have. But means are always restricted through this system. And it just continues to perpetuate itself. So you know, those of you that have seen any of the videos that I've done, I always am going to direct you to take a look at the Venus Project, thevenusproject.com. Jacques Fresco, Roxanne Meadows. Jacques Fresco actually passed away earlier this year on May 18th, 2017. He was 101 years old. He contributed, I think it was 78 years of his life to trying to redesign the society that we're living in a way that makes sense, where we're using the resources of the planet to benefit every person on the planet. Until we are looking at things from that perspective, where, you know what, we shouldn't really be doing anything if it don't benefit everybody. We shouldn't be doing anything if it doesn't benefit all people. If it only benefits a few people, we should move away from that. That's not the direction that we should be moving in for our survival as a species on the planet. So the more selfish that you think, the more survival mentality that you have, where you're just concerned about you and yours only, that's going to continue to perpetuate the system. The system is going to destroy itself without our help. But we want to accelerate what's inevitably going to happen because we're running out of time. And we need a resource-based system now. We already have the technology. We already have the resources. What we don't have is cooperation from the individuals, the people in the world. And it doesn't take a lot of people. It just takes a few of us, you know, a few million of us moving in the same direction, making sure that the things that we do collectively are done to benefit all, not some. In other words, the plans can never just be for some. Just like what my personal goal is that I set. I want to raise $1 billion, not for me, not so I can say, hey, I'm a billionaire. I want to raise $1 billion so that we can build the first city utilizing the concepts of the Venus Project. I'm not saying that, well, the Venus Project is the be all end all. It's not. It's the beginning. We haven't even started yet. And that's the problem. We haven't started. It's like we're behind. And we're moving backwards, but we need to be moving forward, not a few of us. The masses of us that are being kept in the dark and thinking that this system is all we have, it's not all we have. We have the planet Earth available to us. And we have to figure out how to quickly begin moving people away from that thought, where we're relying on a system that is not even real. We make the system real because we cooperate with it. But what's real is human to human interaction. What's real is knowing that this planet provides abundantly for every person on the planet. But we're giving power to people that are keeping the distribution of resources and things that people need away from people. And we have to interrupt that process. We have to short circuit the system that is creating and perpetuating that process. We must do that. That's why Free World Order is so important. The Venus Project is important. The Free World Charter is important. The Zeitgeist movement is important. All of these movements are very integral for people to begin switching their way of thinking. Because if we don't, it's lights out. We're going to allow the systems that are in place to destroy us and destroy the planet. And we don't need to do that. We all have to live on the same planet. Take a look at some of this information on CNN and look and see the way that they have things set up in the cities that were affected by the flood. It's stupidity. Stupidity. And it's probably like that in so many other cities that are also vulnerable to natural disasters. They're not prepared. They're totally not prepared for disaster to take place. Everything they do is a reaction. The Venus Project does not do that. We don't advocate that through a resource-based system. A resource-based system considers the natural ecosystem, the environment. It considers the animals, and it definitely considers every human being. That's not what we have right now. We got to get rid of this shit. This shit has got to go. So that's all I got for right now. Mark Fuller, Free World Order. Make sure that you support us. Get yourself a monthly contribution plan. They start as low as $1 per month. You know, it all adds up. Like I said, my goal is to raise $1 billion. I know that I communicated with Roxanne Meadows of the Venus Project not too long ago. And she said about $1 billion would be enough to begin actually building that first city. And that first city is so important because it's going to be the blueprint for what we can have in the way that we can live in a world and in a society without money, without control. And watch and see how the behavior of people change when they are well fed, they are taken care of. Everyone is provided for in abundance. The behavior automatically changes because you have removed the need and you bypass the behavior that exists right now. People steal, they lie, they cheat. Why? Most of the time because they want access to something that they don't have access to. Period. You can't do that. You're better off giving things to people for free. Even right now in the system, if everything was just provided to everyone for free, people's behavior would change. Oh, well, people would be lazy and they wouldn't want to work. And, you know, you can't have people laying around not doing anything. That's not the human being. The human being is not even designed and built like that. It's impossible for you to lay around and do nothing forever. No one does that. People are in despair and they're looking for other things to do because they're depressed about the system that we're in now. Why do you think people drink alcohol? Why do you think they use drugs? Why do you think they smoke weed? They're trying to remove themselves from this reality because this reality is bullshit. People don't even have access to the basic things that they need. So compare that to a system where everyone has access to everything they need in abundance. Oh, well, we can't do that. Yes, we can. And we must. It's not even a matter of can or should. Must. We must do that in order for our species on this planet to survive. It's that simple. So if you guys understand what where I'm coming from, you want to support what we're doing, definitely get yourself a monthly contribution plan. All right. That's how we're going to make this thing happen. We're going to raise money, build the first city, resource-based system. We're going to use that to move away from money and show people the evidence that we don't need it in order to live on this planet. No other species uses money. Who else uses money other than human beings? Come on, you guys got to, come on, just use your brain. Anyway, Mark Fuller, Free World Order. I hope this video was informative and definitely support us. Facebook.com/Free World Order 2018. Connect with us on Facebook. We're going to be doing Facebook Lives in addition to the podcast. I'm trying to set things up for that now. So, all these things take time to put into place. But I kind of put everything I was doing before on hold. I'm not focusing so much now on businesses and things that I was doing before. I want to focus on this because this is much more important to me. The future for my kids and, for everyone else on the planet that having babies. How do you want your kids to live? What type of world do you want them to live in? I don't want them to perpetuate the world that we're living in right now because I know it ain't shit. It's not. This whole gimme, I got to get mine, you better get yours mentality. It's all bullshit and it's unnecessary. Humans are suffering unnecessarily. Let's not wait for disaster to happen before we decide to be humane and do something and start, putting money towards actually doing something. That's what this $1 billion that I want to raise is going towards. It's going towards something specifically that is going to show that we can move away from money into a resource-based system where everybody is taken care of at a high level. Healthcare, your daily needs, even the things that you like and enjoy doing. No price tag on them. For what? Let's just do things and live. Anyway, I'm out. Mark Fuller, Free World Order. I'll holler at y'all, all right? Peace. Deuce.